going? Welcome everybody to PanGeekery Podcast, a weekly live video podcast celebrating all things geek from an all-diverse perspective. We're going to talk about TV, films, video games, all the things covering every nook and cranny of fandom. My name is Earl. I am an actor, improviser, and when I was a kid, When I was a kid, my favorite Ninja Turtle was Michelangelo.
Nice. Hi, everybody. My name is Jennifer Zhang. I am an actor, writer, slash immersive and video game enthusiast. And my favorite Ninja Turtle is Leonardo.
Woohoo!
Yay.
Leader of the bunch.
Hey guys, my name is Caitlin Faye. I'm a director, a writer, an actor, and a singer. And when I was a kid, my favorite Ninja Turtle was Donatello because no one said his name yet. So
Poor
might as well
Raphael.
be me. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Walter seems like a
Walter
Raphael.
liked Raphael. He told me so.
Yeah, totally.
That's his
Nice.
favorite.
So this tablet's sitting in for Walter right now. As you can see, he's not here.
Yeah.
Let's turn it this way. There you go.
It's just a little shorter than Walter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
right.
a little shorter than Walter.
That's messed up.
Damn, Caitlin.
I said nothing about
Wow.
that.
Walter's
Anyway-
going to burn us for that.
I love Walter.
Anyway,
I love Walter.
I love
welcome everybody to our 17th show.
Yay!
Oh, my God.
So
teenagers
everybody
now.
who has just jumped in the chat, hello, welcome. Don't be afraid to leave us a comment or a question. We will get back to you as soon as we can, as soon as we see it on air. So what have y'all been up to these past couple weeks?
Couple weeks.
Are we
Or over the
asking
past
the
week.
viewer or are we asking?
Well, I'm-
Or should
I'm-
we recap week by
I mean,
week?
week by week. For some reason, I thought last
Not
week was
it.
our bye week.
Oh. Anyway, so today I started shooting for this video game that I'm in that I can't talk about yet, but some news about it should come out shortly. So I'm very excited.
Right.
This is my first video game that I've ever been a part
that's
of.
so awesome.
So yeah,
Earl's like, such a noob.
I know. Earl's
First
like,
Never.
video game.
you're severely underpaid.
never-
Really?
Non-union.
That's true.
Wow. Come on.
I said that. I'm saying that I said that.
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
saying that, it's true. I'm just saying that I said that.
So what did you do this past week, Earl?
Well, I already said. Did I already talk about booking that thing? Right, I did. All right. The animation thing.
No, you didn't say anything.
Did I?
you
Didn't
said that last
I didn't
time.
like.
I
Cool.
just wasn't listening to you, Earl.
Oh, it's all right.
Sorry.
I'm used.
You did? You
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
I booked an animation that I'm not talking about. I can't. I
okay.
officially received the offer last week, so
Oh.
that's happening.
Wow. Everyone's getting stuff.
Nice,
I
nice,
know.
nice.
So that's a good thing, right?
It's
That
a good
the
thing.
fact that you can't talk about it.
Right.
Great.
Yeah.
So we'll see you in the next
Disney.
Overwatch.
I wish.
Disney.
Oh yeah, Disney.
Disney film. Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi. Hey, what's up? I do voice work.
Take a break from Akira. You know.
I know, please. Yeah, but Caitlin, what about you?
This past week, I'm gonna be acting and directing and writing this short film for an upcoming LA Shorts competition.
Awesome.
And so it's gonna go really fast. I'm working with someone, and I'm also gonna be directing my first music video.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's gonna be
That's
a
so
sexy
cool.
one. Be on the lookout. We're filming
it's-
next month. Yeah.
Very much baby making
very-
music.
Oh.
You're gonna make
For real?
several babies.
So many babies are
This
going
is
to be
like-
born.
So many babies.
90s style baby making music.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll talk about it after the
All
show.
right.
Caitlin,
Arnold.
Caitlin is Whoa. Caitlin is a featured singer too.
Yeah,
What,
I was a
what,
singer.
what?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know.
Served.
Yeah.
the babies have to be made somehow.
I know.
They don't just make themselves. You know,
Someone's got to make the baby.
someone's
If you
got to
didn't know-
instigate the baby making. Anyway.
Biologically, if there is no baby making music, babies cannot be born or conceived.
Born
Sorry.
or conceived.
Yeah,
Those are
either
two
one.
different
Yeah,
things.
two.
Priorities,
born and
guys.
or conceived. But we have some things going on for next week, which is San Diego Comic-Con.
That's right.
Right.
We're all three of us currently at this table
Yes.
are going to
yes.
be going.
Yes.
In some
As like
capacity.
Walter.
Walter's not going to be there? Oh, yeah, he's
Yeah,
gonna.
he's not.
Yeah.
Come on, Walter.
Dang, Walter.
Out of the country.
Dropping it again.
You two are on panels. So what panel are you on, Earl?
I'm actually on a Filipinos in podcasting panel.
So specific.
I know, very specific. But it's going to be me.
Just you.
Just
you.
me.
He's the only Filipino on a
And me.
podcast.
No.
Oh, and Caitlin.
Oh yeah.
But also, yeah, the other people on the panel are going to be like Elaine from This Filipino American Life. Jason, Alex, and Gemma from the Geek Say What Network and Diverse Geeks in Focus. Justin Keyson from Go Go Godzilla, and a bunch of other ones. He does Hashtag Show and some other. I can't remember off the top of my head. And there's somebody else.
So we're not the only Filipinos doing a geek podcast?
Oh, there's so many.
Rodney!
We're just a very different format.
I don't want to be on this show anymore. Wow.
Okay.
I know, but...
I'm the token non-Filipino.
Okay, so that
in
makes
this
us
group.
different, okay?
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm forgetting somebody, but that's all I can remember so
Wait,
far.
so Caitlin, what panel are you on?
So I'm going to be on a panel called Heroes at the Mic, which I don't really know a ton about what it's about. It's supposed to be about people talking about their podcasts and how they came to be and how they were kind of assembled. The thing is, I don't know if it's specific to people of color.
Right.
I think it's just like
It doesn't seem like it.
geek-related type
Right.
podcasts or like art, kind of entertainment media related.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only unifying theme that I've been able to glean from the information I've read.
But both our panels are at the same spot. If
Yes,
I'm not
they're right next. Like you're gonna be right after our panel. Yours is
Right.
at 5 p.m. Right?
Right.
Yeah,
Mine's
ours is
at
at
5 p.m.
4.
exact same room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So be there. Jen will.
I will.
She's gonna
Right.
be there.
in costume for multiple days.
Come say hi
awesome.
to us.
Yeah.
We should have like a booth, Rodney.
We should walk
Super hard to
Rodney.
get a Comic-Con booth, I think.
Yeah. How come we don't get a booth? Okay.
We should get like umbrellas and be a traveling booth where we walk around and just hand out cards, you know?
You can carry the booth, Jen.
It's your turn to carry the booth.
I know, I'm not carrying the booth. And then we could just like interview people on the street.
Yeah, like at
Like set up a
WonderCon.
booth, yeah.
Yeah.
Or like a
At
movable booth.
WonderCon.
WonderCon. Anyway, hit us up at SDCC if you're coming. If you're going to San Diego Comic Con, tag us in a tweet or something, or on Facebook, and we'll do a meetup or something. That'll be cool, right? Who's going to put that together? I'm just kidding. Anyway. I want to give a shout out to our sponsors before we move on. First of all, to Jimmy John's, to Jimmy John's and their $10. People are shaking their head at me, and I'm just like, what's going on? Jimmy John's and their $10 box lunch. Awesome sandwiches, a freaky fast, freaky fresh. And this is new. If you go into the Koreatown location and you mention PanGeekery, you will get a discount.
Oh.
So go ahead and do that
Ooh.
if you feel like sandwiching your face up. What was that? The one on Wilshire, right? Wilshire and I think Vermont is the main street. If you all know Los Angeles, that's what's happening. That's where it's at. There's a metro station right there, so if you want to just like train in and like grab your Jimmy John's, peace out, you're good. Also to PWC, Filipino Worker Center, for being our location sponsors. Thank you.
Dramatic.
Oh, yes. So we have tons to talk about on this episode. A lot of things happened in the geek universe. Not just news, but Spider-Man Far From Home came out. So we're going to be talking about that. Stranger Things Season 3 has dropped. We're going to talk about the first 3 episodes. So if you're not through the season yet, don't worry. But if you're up to, episode 3, you can join us there. And finally, we're going to talk about other things like the Mulan trailer. And Shang-Chi, that Akira. We're going to talk about stuff. So, yeah. And at the end, we're going to top it off with a game from Jen.
Woo!
Without further ado, let's start jumping into our main topics. The first main topic, Mulan.
Wow.
Mulan.
Hua Mulan.
Mulan.
Hua Mulan. Will bring honor to your family.
Can you sing
Okay.
in Chinese?
Well, they don't have the lyrics in Chinese, do they?
Oh, it's Disney.
It's
There's
Disney?
there's a
I'm
Cantonese
sure there
version
is.
of
Yeah,
Make a
and
Man Out
Mandarin.
of You.
They always
Whoa.
have
Which is-
those.
I
yeah.
have not heard any.
Wow, so in
translated
touch with
version.
your roots, Jen. Jeez. Oh, sorry. No, I'm
honorary
sorry.
Filipino.
Sorry, my bad.
No, but actually, I am Chinese. But yeah, so the Mulan trailer finally dropped. We get to see Crystal Liu Yifei, playing the titular role. So it's very interesting that Rosalind Chow is her mother. as she is American.
Yeah.
Crystal
That's
is
the
also
first
Chinese.
thing I noticed.
Right,
Yeah.
so
Why
did
is
I.
Mulan's mom better at English than Mulan is?
It's
right.
a difference in like the cultural casting, which is interesting.
So
Right.
weird,
There's
yeah.
that very clear divide. That's the first thing I saw.
And the movie is going to be in English,
Right.
it seems. So
They should have been like, Rosalind, can you just make your English a little less English-y to match your daughter's
Can you
English?
imagine that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Oh.
she got asked that.
Well, but the video itself looks really, really great, though. Mulan
Right.
looks like really fast and fresh. And the thing is, her hair was down, though, when she was fighting. So I don't know if that was like from the last scene. Like, she has long ass hair, you know
But
what I mean?
it looks sexy and romantic.
yeah,
Jen.
but like, didn't she cut it off to be like
Oh,
pass
that's
as a
right.
soldier? So then, at what
yeah.
point in the story would
Are
this
we going
take
to see
place?
that? Right.
that's probably later in the story.
Also,
then when
she like leaves her hair down while fighting. Like, since when was that acceptable for a woman? You know? No, that's what I mean.
I
I'm
thought
not
that's
trying
what you
to
meant.
support patriarchy or anything, but I'm just saying, like, where in the story would this occur?
Well, maybe it's already later in the story when her sex has already been revealed. So
I guess.
maybe in order to tie your hair up in one of those buns, it doesn't have to be as short as she cut it in the in the animated film. Like you could still keep it long and pass as a guy.
I guess so. I think they're not going to cut it, but like, yeah, I have a gut feeling that they're not going to cut her hair the way they did in the animated movie.
But that's such an iconic scene.
I know, but the songs aren't in there. Mushu isn't in there.
There's no
Right.
songs.
There's no
It's not a
song.
musical.
This
and
is
it's
about-
also
right,
based
go
on the
ahead.
legend
Exactly,
of
the
Mulan
legend of
and
Mulan.
not the 1998 Mulan.
Right.
So I have a couple of issues about this already. For one, it's
Yeah.
like I feel
Mushu.
like a lot of changes that occurred, including script-wise, was made to appeal to a wider like Chinese audience. And are
absolutely.
kind of
Yeah.
like isolating the Chinese American populace that grew up like idolizing Mulan because
Right. Very much
it was
so.
built on the American Bildungsroman story of
Yes.
the young hero coming to fruition,
Right.
and B, it actually like harkened on like real Chinese American and Chinese cultural themes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Which is why like
Yeah.
the animated feature did not do well in
In China. Right. It did not.
but it did well here.
Yeah.
But now they're making a movie that's trying to like hybridize the two of them in the hopes that we will gain a Chinese market.
Well, kind of piggyback on that. And this happens all the time, that people conflate the cultures of Asia and of Asian America.
Absolutely.
All the time, and they're very different. One of us is, we are exclusive. We are not each other.
Exactly. And also there's way less Asian American representation,
Right. Right.
than there is Asian
Can I ask you
representation.
guys,
Yes.
how is the 1998 animated Mulan feature, how does that cater more to Chinese Americans as opposed to Chinese people?
Sure. I mean, like the whole, it goes back to the Bildungsroman, right?
Yeah.
Which is the hero's coming of age
But isn't
story.
that, isn't that an international trope? Like,
True, but the American version, as we know it through Disney, right?
Yeah.
Like we know
Right.
it through like Pinocchio, we know it through like, I don't know, Peter Pan, you know? All this has to do with like a very individualized type of like coming of age.
like
into
she's trying to
identity.
prove herself.
One person
Right.
becomes the hero for a reason. In a lot of like Asian stories, it's usually one person is part of a unit or one person serves as an entity or a philosophy
Right.
that serves a larger movement or part of society.
Like
Okay.
in my head, right on top of the surface, the surface is, I'm thinking of that Jet Li movie Hero.
Yes,
Where
exactly.
It's right. Go ahead.
He's like a distillation of like the rebellious force. Of, like,
Absolutely.
that struggle against authority.
Right.
So it's like philosophy plays a lot into like Asian storytelling and communal like identity.
Is it because also in the 1998 film, she claims it's because she wants to save her father, which is true. She
Yes.
doesn't want her father, but at any point,
wants to
she
prove
also could have
herself.
gone back home,
Right.
and it would have been
Yeah.
fine. And then in that pivotal scene where she's like stranded in the middle of this snowy mountain pass, she's like, I just wanted to prove that I could be someone
Yeah.
more.
Right.
Or just look in the mirror.
Yeah, I mean, the most famous part is her singing "Reflection."
Reflection, right.
When will my reflection show who I am inside?
So American.
it is very American.
It's very American. I mean, that's
Yeah.
all right. Those are the kind of things that are at play in this whole situation. And I think it's kind of a lot of people don't see it. But I mean, this is fair. I mean, everybody's looking at it, and even I did when I first just watched the trailer. I'm like, this looks awesome. This looks great.
It looks great. I was streaming tears.
Yeah, I am
really
going to
hope
watch the
that it's
shit out
good.
of this.
It's
Shall
just
we go
not
together?
Yeah,
What's
we should
that?
go.
Yeah, well, yeah.
When's
sure.
it coming out?
Oh my gosh.
Probably like not
When
till
is it coming
Christmas
out?
time or something.
Probably something
right?
like that.
Yeah.
2020.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to be. It's quite a bit away.
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
a year older.
But I will still mourn the fact that this is the live action that Disney chose, not to reiterate the animated singing musical
Right,
feature.
right.
When it's done that for every other
Yeah,
thing. We just
why-
had Aladdin. We're gonna have Little Mermaid. You know,
Yes.
why is it that this one in particular is not the musical version?
Well, it's funny you bring that up, and we don't really have time to go through all of it. But there's a Filipino American comic artist, Josh Luna, and he has a very interesting thread about it. I'll link it
Online? What's he saying?
It's kind of what Jen said about like the appealing to the greater Chinese market.
Yep.
But he brings numbers into it, and I mean, it's a tweet thread. I'll tag everybody.
I
in it.
never thought I'd be arguing in favor of more Disney songs and a tiny red dragon sidekick. Usually I'm like, get away with that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you killed the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Get out of here. And now I'm like, no, we need those. Those are integral to the Disney charm.
To summarize, there's still a lot more to be done as far as Asian American representation goes, and I think that this was a missed opportunity. But I'm still going to see it.
I'm still going to see it. Yeah.
And I think it's like going to be really, really big. I think a lot of people are still going to go see
Right.
and enjoy it. You know.
Right.
But you can still enjoy something and recognize it for its merits and criticize it at the same time. Criticize it at the same
Which
time.
is what I do all the time.
Yeah, that's all. That's us here at
Such a party
PanGeekery.
pooper.
But let's move on. I mean,
Okay.
I know we can.
Thanks,
that can
guys.
get
Thanks
super
for
like
indulging me.
Yeah, absolutely. Important stuff. So next up, Holly Bailey cast as Ariel from talking about Disney as the live action Ariel for the next Little Mermaid. Caitlin.
So basically, Disney has released its casting for its upcoming live action feature of The Little Mermaid. And
Right.
many an American was just horrified to find out that apparently mermaids come in black. Because mermaids really exist. So the actress they chose is this
Right.
young lady named Halle Bailey, whose parents obviously love Storm from X-Men. Sorry, I couldn't help it. Halle Bailey, who is from this R&B duo, Chloe X Bailey. I think that's Chloe X Halle. I think Haley. I think that's how you say it. And Rob Marshall, the director, was just raving about her, saying they've seen lots and lots of actresses,
Right.
and no one else besides this Haley. What is her name? Halle Bailey, for God's sake. Sorry, Halle Bailey chick encompasses the raw spirit, emotion, and vocal talent that is required
Right.
of our
Oh,
beloved
amazing.
Ariel.
Cool.
So, as I said, there was a lot of controversy
Sure.
on the interwebs regarding her skin color and the fact that, there's the hashtag not my Ariel cropping up. There's people saying, well, I was a redhead and I identified with Ariel, and now they're taking that away from me too. What is this pandering, this needless pandering to, the politically correct social justice warrior movement?
First of all, if you say I'm a staunch believer that if you use the words politically correct in a non-ironic way, you're probably an asshole.
Amen.
Also, actually, that's all I wanted to say. You're an asshole.
That was it. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, why this huge hoopla?
I don't know, Jen. What do you think? I don't know. I think it's stupid.
Yeah.
Why are they casting a black girl for Ariel?
I mean, the thing is, like, again, mermaids are mythological creatures, you know?
Right.
I know that, like, she's meant to be, like, a redhead, and she still can be, you know what I mean? But, like, Disney
That's
princesses
true.
are not, like... I mean, they are recognizable by their physical features, like, say, I don't know, Elsa has pale blonde hair, or like Anna has like a streak of whatever in her
big
hair.
doe
You know,
eyes.
these are identifying features that are actually not
Right.
really related to race, you know?
Right.
Like, and especially like as a mermaid,
That's a
some people made like the argument that like deep
like
in the water, you wouldn't produce
melanin
in
because
your
the sunlight
skin.
wouldn't penetrate that far.
Have you never met
It's
a
a
black
mermaid, you guys.
Fucking
Have you never met
butthurt.
a black person in the winter? Like, you just need to get over yourself. You know what I mean?
Well, that's well, I mean, to their credit, not that this fucking matters, but the idea behind it is that, like, you know, black people are displaced around the globe now, so it's not naturally where they come from. Where they come from in like the subtropics or whatever, you know, they have all this melanin to
Right.
absorb all the
Okay,
sunlight in
okay.
Africa. Anyways,
This is too much into like race, like economics here.
I think
Right,
people
but
just
also like it's like treating the fact that because mermaids are one of those things, those mythological creatures that are kind of worldwide, right? There's vampires. A lot of cultures have their own versions of mermaids.
Yeah,
I think
totally.
most cultures do. In
Yeah,
fact.
absolutely. So I mean, like to anglicize it and say that this is
Yes.
like the
Only
only
way to do
interpretation of a mermaid that is valid. It's bullshit.
And then also, what about all the times that a non-white character has been race bent,
And nobody
played
is-
by a
yeah.
white actor, and nobody blinks an eye?
That's
Right.
actually happened more often than
way
once.
more
Yeah,
times.
way more times than there have been this. I mean, like, the only reason why people are noticing it is because the white majority sees, like, oh my God, this is what they're doing to us, when, like, that's been done to people of color for centuries on end. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, like, I think the thing that Disney is very bravely deciding to debunk here is that white is the norm for every mythological story that we tell.
Yes.
Right.
You know, like for some
white as
reason,
default
Yeah,
for
white as
characters.
default, and that's a problem. You know.
It absolutely is.
Do you guys remember a few years ago when there was a touring cast in the U.S. of The Little Mermaid, the musical, and they cast an
Asian
Asian
American.
American? Yeah,
Yeah.
she's Vietnamese, right?
Yeah.
And I remember when that came out, I was reading about it in the papers, and they were saying that in the metropolitan areas on both sides of the coast, it was generally well received, but the farther south down they went.
Right.
During the tour, the more and more
man.
grumbling from audiences
sure.
and more negative responses there were, because they were like, "That's not Ariel. Ariel is
Bible
not
Belt
Asian.
indeed."
Why is she yellow? She's
Right.
white, like me."
Diana Hui actually
Yeah.
wrote.
Yeah,
to,
she wrote to
Halle
Halle.
Bailey and said, like, don't. The fans will outweigh the negative naysayers.
Right.
So don't worry about it. You know, all in all, this is important what you're doing, and
And of course, there's
me sad.
there's the petition. People, creating
God.
petitions again.
I can't believe that's really happening.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. Well, I'm gonna when they start dropping footage, I'm excited to see what they do with it. And I mean, they've always Aquafina's already
Yeah.
attached. Somebody
And
else
Jacob
is
Tremblay
Jacob Tremblay. So
and Melissa McCarthy might play Ursula.
Ursula.
Yeah.
I see. Cool.
So, yeah.
That could be interesting. But yeah, I'm all for it. I'm waiting to see what happens. So that brings us to our big subject for the night.
sorry, Diana
Sorry,
Hui
yes.
is a Seattle-based Japanese
Oh,
American.
she's Japanese. Sorry.
Vietnamese.
My
Okay.
bad.
Japanese. What's up? Okay. So next up, our main. One of our main topics for tonight: Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Spider-Man.
So y'all saw this on Sunday. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I saw it today, or no, last night. What did y'all think, just generally for right now?
Caitlin?
Okay, so the night before, so Saturday night, I bought the first Spider-Man Homecoming off of YouTube to
Okay.
watch it.
Right.
My roommate is a huge Spider-Man fan.
Got
It's her
it.
favorite Marvel superhero, loves Andrew Garfield, and
Right.
she'd been hearing great things. We had both been hearing great things about this.
Oh, she hadn't seen it either.
She hadn't seen it either. And like 10 minutes in, we were looking at each other like, what the hell is this? We just weren't really feeling it. I personally wasn't feeling how MCU-ified it was. It felt like an MCU film that happened to need to focus on one superhero, so they randomly chose Spider-Man. And I feel like Far From Home was a bit more cohesive.
Right.
I feel like it was more of a Spider-Man film, and I do feel like there's some cute, fun little friendship bonding moments. And the story was like pretty solid. I didn't notice any plot holes for the most part. Was it cheesy and formulaic? yes, but it's MCU. What do you guys expect?
Oh man, wow.
I just have a low opinion of MCU.
Very, very cynical opinion of
Yeah,
MCU. I
it's
feel
just
like
normal.
I have been a fan of. I mean, I thought Endgame was spectacular.
Well,
you know?
that was they
Yeah.
had time to devote to Endgame.
no, absolutely. You know, but I'm just saying that like I am a. I mean, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
So that's not
Spider-Verse?
MCU. Is
Wasn't
it?
it?
I don't consider that MCU.
I
I,
don't
know
think-
some people do.
It's Marvel produced.
Right.
Yeah, but it's not MCU.
Right, I don't think
too
it's-
good to be MCU.
I don't know.
But it kind of is.
Is
I don't think it is because like they haven't. Well, I don't know. Well, I kind of feel like that is up to debate. I feel if we ask Kevin Feige, he's gonna say no, it's not.
Oh, I see.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, ask the audience. What do
you
y'all
guys
think?
Answer us on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is Spider-Verse the Taiwan to MCU's
or in the
China?
chat. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Don't say that about China,
Oh no,
Jen.
oh no. No, I'm just
kidding.
Anyway,
Well, I mean, what do y'all? Did you want to just general notes for you, Jen?
I really thought it was meh, you know.
Right. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the thing is the best thing about the new Spider-Man films is casting Tom Holland. He is so perfect. I wish the writing of these stories could live up to the amount of brilliance that he has. Like
What do you mean
bringing
he's
it-
perfect? Like, what do you
well,
like about
the thing is, he brings this like innocent spark and charisma to the role. He has like that hero's optimism, and he also has that pluck, you know, that I feel
Right.
like is very true to the character of Spider-Man. Spider-Man is very youthful. He's very like jokey. You know, he's a little bit awkward. He's like kind of like not a cool kid, you know.
Right.
But then when he gains his powers, he's like, oh, like I'm trying to gain my way through all of this, you know.
I get that.
So I felt like he was really well cast, but like, I don't know. The script was just so hokey. Like when Jake Gyllenhaal gets revealed to be the villain, it was such a
Can you say expository lump?
expository
Expository
lump.
dump.
He points to every
All exposition, yeah.
member of his like cantina or whatever.
Right.
It's like you, who were the vice president assistant of the blah 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 blah, and you
Who's
when
in
you
charge of
did
that?
that. I know it was just so heavy-handed and disgusting. You know, I honestly think like the villain role of like the idea of using drones to create an immersive kind of 4D landscape where
Right.
people are fooled was kind of brilliant, you know?
I think so too.
It was like a villain arc worthy of like Tony Stark's successor.
Right.
But it was just not done
Well,
in a very compelling way.
I'll agree with that was weird. So just my general notes. I think I mean overall I had a lot of fun. I did have like not the same misgivings as either of you, but I did have my own misgivings. Actually, I shared one of yours. But overall, I think it was a good movie in terms of I don't know. I did again.
What did you
don't
like
expect
about
much.
it?
I love Tom Holland. I love that we did get to see a little more of like everybody's relationships, and that was kind of important to me. I did not again like the villain reveal.
Sloppy, right?
Yeah, it felt a little hokey and
Super hokey.
Here's the thing: is like it harkened back to me to Iron Man 3, which was the Mandarin reveal. I don't know if you
anything about
remember
that
this,
movie.
but
I don't
like
remember.
the entire time they had Ben Kingsley as a red herring for the Mandarin, and it ended up being Guy Pearce's character, who was like this super powered bad dude that was like enhanced by extremis, and like I could go like another phase of Marvel without seeing the whole red herring thing.
Yeah, red herrings are
I-
really lazy writing, unless you're in a procedural where that thing is welcomed. You know?
Right.
I mean, yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, what do you think? Is all this kind of a side effect of it being too MCU'd?
Yes.
What I say by that
Down
is
with MCU.
Oh my.
Down with MCU.
You're gonna get blacklisted.
Oh,
I don't
know about
care.
that. I mean, I think that's a little extreme.
I think that is extreme. I think like maybe what like getting MCU'd like means. I mean like I'll filter
absolutely.
the meaning out from it. Is that like it's letting the franchise speak for business sake rather than for narrative sake.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is that a better way of saying it?
Yes.
Okay.
I just distill it all into down with MCU.
Yeah, but what does that mean, Caitlin? I mean, like,
I
what?
mean, I don't want to be the negative Nancy.
I mean, we can like
I will
we
be
can
the negative
spout
Nancy.
like
It's
you know axioms all day long,
We
but
want
like,
to
what does it
hear you.
mean?
You know what I mean?
It's what you said. It's just apparent to me. Every single MCU film that comes out nowadays is like, it doesn't come from an organic narrative space. It comes from a place of, you know, extremely rich Hollywood, big Hollywood executives trying to figure out, how can I sell more toys? How can I sell more Spider-Man figurines? Okay, so listen to me, Todd. Listen to me, Cheryl. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna introduce Spider-Man, and instead of making him like the nerd, like a Tobey Maguire, or like the edgelord, like Andrew Garfield, we're gonna make him this like super Maddox Pixie Dream Boy, golden retriever, fucking cute little piece of shit.
My God.
And that's you know, that's gonna give him a new fresh angle for the kiddies and the millennials. And then we're gonna introduce super 2001 Donnie Darko hunk what's his Prince of Persia, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Right.
And then we'll have them have a thing, and then that's more revenue so we can make more toys. And I don't really care about the story, Bob. Just write a fucking story and we'll make a shit ton of money. You know what I mean? Like the story, like the narrative is paper thin, and it comes off every single MCU film that everything is forced. They're always trying to bring in Nick Fury, or they're always trying to bring in Iron Man. They're always trying to bring in some other random tangential character that doesn't need to be there.
Nick Fury had a really weak point in this play.
This was like, it wasn't even Nick
movie.
Fury. Spoiler.
Yeah. And then towards the end credits,
dumb.
it gets revealed that Nick Fury wasn't even in there.
That's what perfect example.
Wait.
Did you miss it?
Wait, say maybe I did. What happened?
So in the end credits, while they're riding in the car, it's Nick Fury and it's Maria Hill.
Right.
And like they basically deactivate their disguise, and they're the what is it called on Captain Marvel's planet?
They're one of those aliens from Captain Marvel.
The Kree.
Yeah.
And what is the one that they thought was the villain that they ended up working with?
Beck.
I think. Yeah.
Mysterio?
The main guy.
The guy with the Australian accent.
Oh, in Captain Marvel?
Yeah.
Captain Marvel.
The
main Skrull.
Main Skrull. Him. Jude Law. That guy.
No. The Skrull. Not.
He's a green.
Oh, Skrull.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What's his name? I forgot.
Yeah,
Regardless.
but that's him.
That was Nick Fury.
Him playing Nick
Oh,
Fury.
weird.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was a reveal put in
Did I
there for
miss that?
none
Did I
other
just
than
go to
just
the
going
bathroom?
like, ha, gotcha.
If you
Did
blink,
Right.
it's a special scene in the end credits.
Oh, God. It was probably in the mid-credit scene. And that was
But it's like, if you have to put that in the end credits, that means you didn't tell your story right. Like, that was like a haha, gotcha.
I think it's like I think all this is kind of a side effect of the MCU running this long.
Yeah,
You know what
That
I'm saying?
too. It's just,
And I think that if there was like if we had stopped with Phase 1, this probably wouldn't be an issue.
They also
And-
keep trying to repeat the success of Avengers.
Thank
You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
When Avengers was actually, it was really brilliant.
Right.
I thought. And like the reason why the end credit scene with them just eating at a diner in
The shawarma
exhaustion
thing?
and
Back then, that was
silence,
cool. Yeah.
Right.
That was cool because like the movie itself was already so tightly wound that like by the time when you see the end, just to see like a little cherry on top was like, that was cool.
But that's all you need.
that's all
now
you need.
they're hitting it
Now
over
they're
our heads.
hamming
Right.
you up,
I will say I'm glad this one didn't have too many cringy Marvel jokes, because usually when I watch Marvel films nowadays, like
Yeah.
there's so many forced jokes.
I actually had a lot of cringy
really?
moments. Here's the thing. I mean,
Right.
I think Zendaya is wonderful. I think her character is so poorly written.
Why? Why
I
do you
think,
say that?
Well, I mean, she's written as this like kind of monotonous, kind of like Daria-esque character.
Right.
But it feels completely out of world, and it also isn't believable to me that Tom Holland's Spider-Man would go for her.
But Jen, don't you know
Mary
if you
Jane.
put a strand of hair over your left eye, guys get boners for you?
Well,
You guys don't get boners off
Lord
of that?
knows I got through college that way, but Like,
I don't know. I think
I really don't think it's a character. I don't think it's good character development.
So
every time she said something, it was just very cringy for me.
got it. So we have a comment in the chat. SJ Pab R. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Sorry, I'm butchering
we
that.
treat
Whoa.
our guests.
We value you.
Homecoming was better.
Homecoming was better. I
That's,
didn't get to see it.
That's the comment. The comment.
The Kwame.
The Kwame.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for
That
your comment. I wouldn't know because I didn't see Homecoming.
I did see Homecoming.
I saw it.
They're kind of on equal footing for
I
me.
like this one more.
Yeah. I guess so. I kind of agree that these films kind of feel like they do very much feel like in service to the MCU. And
yes.
As a business rather than as a narrative.
yeah.
yeah.
I will say that they're enjoyable enough for me to keep watching them. And right, but they're not gonna they're not life-changing. The Endgame was pretty life-changing, I thought. And the first Avengers was.
I think Homecoming definitely was better because the villain was better.
Okay, I'll agree with you there. The because Michael Keaton as the Vulture was awesome. It was badass. Well, see, this is another issue we could do an entire episode on. This is the lack of good villains in the MCU. I mean, how many are there that you can name and that aren't throwaway? Like everybody was throwaway. Ronan the Conqueror, the Mandarin was throwaway. Mickey Rourke in Iron Man 2. All of them throw away. The only ones that we ever come back to are Thanos and Loki.
Because he's
And
sexy.
that's kind of it. Even Jude Law in Captain Marvel throwaway. So
Yeah, throwaway.
I don't know. Maybe that's just a
And it's
right.
interesting because they have really high caliber actors
right.
doing
Yeah.
the villains.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if that's something that has just happened kind of as a mistake, or if that's purposeful. I have no idea, because I can only say that after this many films and not having a strong villain, it's like what does that really mean? So anyway, yeah. Overall, I liked it. Will I watch it again? Probably, just because I watch everything twice that I enjoy. But take home, anything take home?
Something just popped into my head.
Yeah.
Can I say this? Sorry, Caitlin.
Oh,
Oh, you're
yeah,
fine?
sure.
Okay.
Why not?
I don't know. This theory just popped into my head of what if the reason why they're not coming up with brilliant villains is that they're trying to save which movies they want to make that compelling so that they can perpetually continue to make more movies.
You mean it's all by choice, and it's kind of strategic,
it's kind of strategic, when they're going to do that, because if they make one that's going to be, I don't know, this is half baked.
That's all right. I mean, it's something we can always develop, I think.
No, because I think the way that movies are released nowadays, they're
Right.
also released almost as if they were TV shows,
Yeah.
In the hopes that
absolutely.
it will have a sequel, in the hopes that it will have a second season,
Yeah.
They're never made in and of themselves anymore. So the focus of quality is not localized to one single piece.
It's very true. That's absolutely true.
Yes.
And that's not just an
Yes.
MCU thing.
Yeah.
It's not. It's I mean, it
Where's
is,
Hollywood going these
Well, yeah.
days?
Where are you, Hollywood?
I know we really wanted to bring this up, so I'm going to say it and kind of just close off here. But I feel and this is just what it was in the first film is the casting is pretty good still. In terms of representation, it's great, I think. Because we have Ned.
Yay, Filipino guy.
Yeah. Jacob Batalon, dude, what's up, man? I love
he's
every scene with him.
adorable.
Oh gosh, I live for it.
Him and his girlfriend. Babe.
That was pretty funny.
Baby.
I liked their moments.
It's so cringy,
It
but in
took me
a
back to
good
high
way.
school
I
and
know.
Yeah.
those cringy
I
couples.
was
Yeah.
We're you go on a class trip and then they get together and they're all holding
Right.
hands. You're
Yeah,
Right.
it's
no.
stop.
Get the fuck out of
And
here.
Zendaya and even Peter's the guy that doesn't like Peter but loves Spider-Man. What's his name? I always forget his name.
Oh.
Yes,
from-
Flash.
He's
Also.
from Crazy Rich Asians.
Oh no, we're
No,
talking
the
about
guy who's
that's
Did you
Brad.
notice they try to insert
Remy
some weird
Heath.
subplot thing
Right.
where there's he's looking for his father? Did you know it was super subtle?
What?
It was so
at the end?
subtle.
I know,
No,
right.
okay. They okay. So the guy, I don't know what his ethnicity is. He's brown skin. He's kind of a
South
jerk.
Asian.
Yeah, he's like South Asian looking, and he's
Yeah.
a jerk to Peter. So when Peter puts on Edith when they're in the bus, when he calls that like missile to come and like
Right.
kill,
He
what's
sees his
face?
dad.
Accidentally.
He has access to everybody's text messages.
Right.
And in one corner, if you blink, you'll miss it.
Right.
But there's that character
He's looking for his
texting
dad.
his mom saying, "Have we found father yet?" And then so that was weird. And then at
Weird.
the end, when he
The
gets
limousine,
picked by
yeah.
whoever picks him up at the airport, he says, "Have we found my father yet?"
Yeah.
So I was like, were they
weird. Where's that going
trying
to?
to
Well, I've seen
subtly like?
something.
I was like, that was sloppy.
Yeah.
Though. Like,
We'll see. We'll see what
You
happens
guys,
to that.
we
Yeah.
forgot one big major thing. At
Yeah.
the end
What?
of Spider-Man, they revealed Peter Parker's identity to the
Oh,
rest
right.
of New York.
That's right.
Right?
So that's the thing
And-
now, which is a throwback to them, to Robert Downey Jr. Announcing that he was Iron Man at the end of 2. Was that 2? Right.
That's the thing, though. I mean, like, I know that this entire movie was made as like Peter's homage
Right,
to Tony
to Tony
Stark.
Stark.
However, it really did not live up to Tony Stark. You know?
Yeah.
I didn't feel that way.
I felt almost like there was too much in the movie for that to be the case,
Yeah.
for that to be done well.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily me apologizing for it. It's just saying that this is what happened. And
Yeah.
I almost wish that, not that this was like split into 2, but like maybe they could have done this Tony stuff first.
I think so. You know what was missing for me was
Yeah.
the heart of the film, was his care for Tony, you know, because that
I get
seemed like
that.
a charade. I feel
Right.
like if the villain were something very, very close to home,
Right.
you know, that would have been more hard hitting. Like
Yeah.
something
But
that
no.
hit somewhere. Oh, it's called Far From Home, so it wouldn't hit home.
Right.
that's your
Anyway.
take home.
Okay.
That's our coverage of Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Fun.
Next thing, Stranger Things season 3, the first 3 episodes. Caitlin.
So you guys, who's caught up on Stranger Things season 3?
I just watched the first 3 episodes.
We are.
We
Yeah,
only
yeah.
watched the first 3 episodes between
Yes.
all 3 of us.
Well,
But
Earl and I.
18.2 million people have finished the series already.
Really?
That's right.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
Rodney being one of them.
Okay. Well, Stranger Things, new season. Love it or hate it so far? Go.
I think
Too early to say.
For me, it's way too early to say.
Gotcha.
I feel
Okay.
like they're still setting up a lot of stuff, and maybe that's too long. Maybe 3 episodes is too
Did
long.
you notice like the first 2 episodes were like mostly exposition?
Yeah,
They were
absolutely.
just setting stuff
Mostly
up. Yeah.
exposition. This one we start to get a little bit of character, but like it's still like we're getting a lot of exposition.
Jen's shaking her head
Jen.
vehemently.
I
hated
feel like
it.
Jen has
you
something
hated
to
it?
say.
I
Whoa.
hated it.
Okay,
Okay.
hated it.
I mean, like, I mean, there's so much to say, but like, if I could retitle the first 3 episodes, maybe I'll be
Right.
proven wrong. If I could retitle the first 3 episodes, it would be Casually in Search of Conflict.
Okay.
Everybody's just like wandering around going like, isn't life grand? Aren't we
Yeah.
just like stock versions of the characters that we used to be
Yeah.
with
Right.
no prior
Yeah.
knowledge of how we went through hell in years before?
Yeah.
And now we're
Okay.
reduced to like weird arguments about like nothing, you know?
You know something's wrong when for 2 episodes Hopper's biggest conflict is like the fact that
Him
his
and-
his adoptive
Elle,
daughter is
yeah.
making out with Boy. Like I think he cares way too much about that. Like
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like the Hopper from season 1 and 2 would be annoyed.
I thought that was
Exactly.
weird too.
but
I
he
thought it
wouldn't
was
be.
weird.
He was like throwing things in Joyce's store.
Also,
Yeah.
why would Joyce care so much about magnets that she would go back into Hawkins' lab where she freaking re-traumatized herself again
Right,
just to
right.
find out about magnets?
about the magnets, yeah,
You know
I
what I
did
mean?
think that was a stretch. Yeah, it was.
Anyway.
that was a bit of a stretch.
So there's also like,
It's
I
like
don't know.
couples season. Like, is this like mating season? Like,
Yes.
do we have any characters that are not involved with someone else? You know? Like, okay, so there's
Will is not.
well, clearly
Yeah,
he had a little
right.
bit of a tantrum in episode. But there's like, there's Elle and Mike.
Right.
There's Mad Max and Lucas.
Right.
Supposedly there's
Dustin.
Dustin and this Phoebe
And
Cates lookalike.
Susie.
Susie. There's
Susie.
what looks to be like Will. I'm sorry. looks to be like Joyce and Hopper might have a thing going on.
Well,
we don't know
Hopper
about that.
definitely has a
Maybe.
thing going on.
Yeah.
Joyce, maybe not.
There might be a thing with Billy and
Billy and
Mrs.
Miss-
Wheeler. There's Nancy and Jonathan.
right.
My God, there's 6 right there.
I know.
And
Right
there's
there.
also Steve and Robin.
Which is
Steve
going to
and
happen.
Robin?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Steve and Robin.
That's like 7
Right.
couples, you guys. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
enough with the fucking
Yeah.
Buffyverse. Like, we get it.
Yeah.
Things happen in the summer.
Wait, okay, so I do have to talk about like, so Stranger Things for me, like in my opinion, has always been about like weaving the horror narrative into the 80s
Right.
nostalgia aesthetic and
Okay.
building like a nice horror narrative from that.
Yes.
Right.
For me, this season so far, the horror narrative is severely lacking. It's like
Yeah.
curious
It's
little
too
horror
happy.
things
Yeah.
that are
Right.
happening that we have no context or emotional investment in. And then here's, some people that we know and love saying some jokes that we know we would love.
It's like
Right,
it turned
right,
into a
Things
CW
that-
show or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I have problems with that. The for the most part, the horror aspects are happening to Billy, who we don't emotionally invest in.
Yeah.
From the first
Right,
2
right.
seasons, Will is the one that's captured, and the whole town is up in arms because everybody loves Will.
Yeah.
It's an
know?
odd it's an odd choice to make.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It feels very like divorced
I think I know why they did it.
from
Wait.
so that he
they-
can become the villain.
Well, that too, but
Yeah.
they in the last season they got to the end of the season. They're like, we didn't really use Billy. We should really use him next season. He's like,
Great actor.
Oh,
he's a
great.
great
Yeah,
actor,
he's
great character. But I don't think when they wrote him in, they didn't really quite 100% know where they were going to go with him. So
Right.
now they need to utilize him, and they need to utilize him quick. Otherwise, he'll just become
Yeah, I
They're
know.
clearly trying to
damn
set up
my
something.
dog fodder.
Yeah. They're clearly trying to set up something with like body snatchers, like the
Yeah.
old
Yeah.
Twilight Zone episodes where it's like, okay, now the Mind Flayer is going to take each one and replace them and then send them out into the real world. And maybe that's world domination
Well,
through
I do think
zombies.
they are injecting some important themes in the sense that now they're showing that the Upside Down is kind of like a virus that is spreading to the right side up, and now they're leaving imprints on other humans, like kind of like leaving like
Yeah.
evil clones of themselves. So they're like in the last season, it became apparent to me that all of this is kind of like a metaphor for like the internal virus inside all of us that
Right.
kind of spreads if you don't check it.
Yeah.
Got
that
it.
like it's kind of like the human flawed nature.
Got it.
This one is the
Yeah.
Upside Down is creeping into our own world, and now it's spreading its own dominion into the human world.
Well, it has a special connection to
Right?
the Cold War, McCarthyism, and the Russians, which is why we
Yeah.
mention Russian a lot.
Which is all
Russia a lot.
super, super 80s.
Super 80s.
It's very 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's still part of that Cold War thing.
Yeah.
So,
But,
I mean, I'm just trying to say that, like,
Yeah.
because Jen was saying, like, there's not as much like of the main
horror,
storyline.
right.
I think they are trying to. They're just doing a very slow job of it.
I think so too. I think that I could have done with just the one episode of Where Are They Now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we
Not
could have
3.
Not
Right.
2 or 3. Yeah.
and then we could have jumped straight into it
It's
because
straight
like
into the drama.
like honestly we do like from previous seasons we do care about these characters. I mean, we've just been with them for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I just think that the strength of the series has always been like you said, it's the horror narrative being woven in with like the natural world or the
And
existing world,
nostalgia.
the nostalgia.
And small town love, you
Right.
know? Yeah.
And
Community.
this was too much small town love, and without
Too
at
much
least
nostalgia too. Look,
right. I guess
heavy
every
hitting.
scene, like they're like, it's like they were like doing a challenge, like how 80s
How
can we
80s
get?
can this get?
How retro can we get, you guys? Just shove it down their throats.
I do think that I would like to see more focus on the horror narrative soon,
Yeah.
and I think it's going to happen.
Well, how many
It's just-
episodes are in this season?
I think there's 13 this.
Oh, maybe that's why,
'cause
because
it's
there's so many more
longer.
episodes.
Rodney's
yeah.
there's 13 this because you finished it. Oh, it's only 8.
No, so
Yeah,
it's shorter?
Stranger Things has always been
There was
Right,
9
it's been
in the
you're
last
right, it's been a
one.
short, yeah,
Yeah, so
short
8.
Season. What is 13? Yeah.
I was surprised by it too. I don't know the exact number, but it's definitely not 13.
So do you guys think that nostalgia is overtaking the story, or is it just
I mean, again, it's always been about nostalgia.
yeah? But no,
like,
that was like a backdrop. This is like
I
almost
mean,
becoming the main thing.
like not just backdrop, but also just like it was like a natural environment for the story to dwell.
Right.
You know what I mean? And whereas now it's like, hey, remember when it was the 80s?
Yeah.
You know, like it's just very hard hitting, and it's trying to sell us on nostalgia without giving us the emotional impact of what it offered in the first 2 seasons.
Well, I will counter that by saying, like, I remember the 80s. And,
Wow.
yeah.
Oh,
I remember the 80s. And so it didn't feel it wasn't overt for me.
Oh, okay.
So I just looked at it as like, oh, yeah, the 80s were like that. I remember the 80s existing as this snapshot very clearly. And
The
it was,
production design, I think, is
Right.
great. Like, they're pretty accurate. Not that
Right.
I remember the 80s, but
like, yeah, just the costumes, the way things looked, all the neon. I mean, and it's not just the art direction. I mean, the way things, the lifestyle of the 80s is very alive in this series. Like going out without your parents' permission and like being latchkey kids, like meeting up at the mall, and the mall being like the center of the social world when you're that age. Which is, I mean, that's something we can talk about. I mean, we can talk about.
I was going to say, speaking of malls,
Right.
God, I feel like there's a hair in my mic. Anyways, so the mall features quite.
Star Court.
There's quite a bit of mall featuring in this season.
Right.
A lot of the events, especially concerning Steve and his new gal and Dustin, take place in mall. And I think what they're trying to say is that not so much now, but back then, the mall kind of functioned as this go-to place, this meeting place where
Absolutely.
everybody could socialize and have an after-school life. And that's
Right.
integral to the development of young people. What do you guys think about that and the role that malls play nowadays?
Before we jump into that, really quick, I
Yeah.
just want to acknowledge Vicky Wynn in the in the chat. There is never enough Buffyverse, is what he or she said. I'm guessing he.
It's a she.
She.
That's
I'm
my
guessing
roommate.
There's never
okay.
enough
There's
Buffyverse.
Never enough
It's because they
Buffyverse.
said there, like all the
There's too much
couples in
Buffyverse.
here.
Oh,
Enough of the
I was like,
Buffyverse.
there's.
yeah.
I can get on.
I
that
think
train.
there is in this one though. I think I could have done with like 2 or 3 less couples. Like, there don't need to be 7
That's all
couples.
I'm asking.
There need to be 7 couples.
But Jen, you were saying, what did you think about malls? And
I mean, like, I feel like that's been a staple since the 80s,
Right.
right? Is that like malls are this huge thing, giant like businesses joining together in this like one place where it's like almost an amusement park where people
Right.
can hang out. You know, I remember hanging out in malls. They're becoming sort of less than a thing, but I think a lot of people still go to them.
I think they'll always kind of be a thing, don't you think? Until
I don't know.
as long as you can continue to try on things in person,
right.
Yeah.
I think that is dying. I think that like
trying things on in
Online
person.
shopping
Online-
has taken
yeah.
over a lot.
yeah, because
I,
Yeah.
I think they were really focusing on how, like you were saying, Caitlin, it's like it was a place to like hang out.
right.
And now, yeah, it's still a thing, but like no one really hangs out at malls anymore. I would say I don't feel like kids these days.
Well, let's take a poll of all the
I
kids.
don't know.
Hello, all the kids out there.
Hello, kids.
We'll see.
Do
Do
you
you
all
hang out at malls? And if so,
We can
Yeah.
put
Earl
that
wants
on.
to find you.
Oh no, please.
Find out.
Jeez. We can.
Oh, wow.
We can
Tell
we can
us
make that a
where you
poll.
meet.
Tell us where you hang
poll.
out.
And Earl will find you.
Yeah, we can play some Street Fighter
Yeah.
4.
Crisis.
Right? Is that what
Time
it is? No,
Crisis.
5. Street Fighter 5.
Remember arcades?
Yeah, arcades.
love
Arcades
arcades.
are not a thing anymore.
Arcades are coming back in the form of barcades.
It's not the
Not the
same.
same
the
thing,
same.
and
It's
you know
absolutely
it,
not the
Jen.
same.
I know. But anyway,
They're like
speaking
the Disneyland version of malls. I mean, of arcades. It's like this
It's
weird.
like fake. It's
yeah,
an
fake
uncanny
as
valley.
shit. Yeah, it's like I walk in and like this feels like a virtual reality
See, that's,
simulation.
oh man.
Okay, well,
Anyway.
but sorry, yeah.
But yeah, so as far as malls go, I mean, one of the huge things for me in Stranger Things was Hawkins, was the fact that this was a town where nothing ever happens, you know?
Right.
So now it's like everything is in the mall now. And it's kind of crazy. I mean, part of it is part of the woven into the narrative, right? Like the
Right.
small businesses of Hawkins are dying out, including Joyce's, because
Right.
like nobody is buying from small businesses anymore.
Yeah.
There's like the whole gentrification of the town
Right.
of Hawkins.
Right,
And
right.
that adds to another thing I was saying about like Hopper's character being completely flattened out. Like he was the champion of the week, you know? Like
Like they're
Right.
trying to
when-
find conflict for him.
and when there's like protests outside,
oh
and
yeah,
this,
that
like,
was so random.
piece of shit mayor who sits in like being seedy
Like a
and grubby.
total
Stock
freaking
character.
stock character. Like
Well-
Hopper's like, sure, okay, you know.
He's
I'll
a stock
move him out.
character just because all politicians are like that.
no, it's because they needed conflict. So
But
they,
Well-
it's like they're struggling to create conflict
The
for
thing is,
Hopper. They don't
though-
know what to do with him.
I mean, yeah. Narratively, yes, but it's still an accurate depiction of anybody in office right now. So
I guess.
fuck
Yeah.
you all.
I mean, they could have done that with using one character, but they also had a similar guy and guys in the newspaper in Hawkins Post. Right.
Right.
There's an
Right, I get-
entire
yeah.
like newsroom of guys who do that exact same thing. So it's
Male
like, how many
chauvinist.
times do we have to be hit over the head?
Yeah,
with
we
the
get
same
it.
kind
Right,
of
Things
character.
were
right.
different back then, or
But-
were they?
Yeah, the point I wanted to make about Hopper is that his character seems the most divorced from who we know him to be in
Right.
previous seasons because he's like this drunken lout who flips his shit
Well, he
because
was kind of a drunken lout.
I mean,
in the first season.
There's a
but
reason why.
there was
though.
a reason
Yeah,
why
he
he
was
was traumatized
sad.
because of his
Right.
daughter. But now he's just kind of like loud and like very, I don't know, just over the top.
Brash.
Like,
It is a
really,
bit
really
over the
brash,
top,
but
yeah.
like just
Also, Mike's
Angsty.
turning into an asshole.
Yeah.
You guys- I used to love Mike. I mean, I understood why he kind of he went off on Hopper at the end of season 2 because he found out
Yeah.
Hopper had been hiding Elle from him for an
right.
entire
Yeah, that's
year.
fair.
But like some of the mouths on these kids, like the way they talk to the adults, I'm like, the Asian in me is like, show some respect.
Right.
They're
Well,
teenagers.
Yeah,
though.
but still,
Yeah, exactly.
I would never. They're
Well,
not.
you're
that's
Asian.
You're Asian. I
Wow,
would
way
never
to
say that
put
to my
white
parents.
kids in their. I mean, it's not even
No,
their
I'm not
parents.
even fucking around. Have you?
Yeah.
Do you have white friends growing up? Holy
Yeah.
fucking shit!
I know they say "fuck you" to their
Fuck you.
parents.
But not
Yeah.
their parents. They're saying it
Yeah.
to other people's parents. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man. dude.
Because Hopper's
shit was
not Mike's
crazy.
dad,
Yeah.
and Hopper's also not Mad Max's dad. But they both like said mean things to him, and I was like, what are you saying?
For another, like, why would Mike be afraid of
Hopper?
whatever Hopper just said about the thing?
Right.
Why wouldn't they just meet in secret? They've braved through death together.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, why is he scared of whatever Hopper's going to do? It's like unclear to me what he exactly he's so
It's because-
afraid of.
especially since we didn't see that on screen.
Right.
Exactly. And Hopper
Right.
didn't threaten to kill him. We know that much.
Yeah, he didn't.
I think maybe he's afraid of what Hopper did. He took Elle away from him for a year, so he's just traumatized. He doesn't want her to go away again.
That's a stretch for me. I feel like this is lazy writing. I feel like it's the end of Game of Thrones for
Well,
me.
I think
Whoa, it's not
no, no, no.
that bad.
Well, I don't
yo.
think that's lazy writing.
Yeah.
Quite a
I think that's
claim.
an actual that could happen to them because like we're thinking about this era where we have cell phones and like we have communication at our
You
fingertips.
could take Elle away.
Like you like legitimately taking somebody away and putting them in another area and
Right.
having no communication is absolutely a thing back then.
Right, but Elle has magical powers, and Mike knows how to radio phone her, and they secretly did that for the entirety of season 2 up until they met at the end. So why wouldn't they secretly meet up? Why would Mike cut himself off from Elle?
Well, like he would still have to like place that radio in her hands. Like, but if Hopper just like whisks her away in the middle of the night, what does he do? And then this entire time she's because her
Elle
images.
can see him, but he can't see
Yeah,
her.
But
she
he
can see
hear
him.
her through a radio, any radio.
Yeah.
Well, but it was like very. It was like that echoey, like it's in. It's not reliable. Like
Oh,
And when you love someone, you're
Right.
freaked out about the possibility of even that happening.
I don't know. I feel like he wouldn't be, and I also don't feel like Will would beat up Castle Byers either. I just feel like people's reactions to things are like way too over the
when
top.
I
When-
have to
right,
agree,
right,
that
yeah,
was
yeah,
a little
that
over
was
the
a little
top.
low. I was like,
it
what
was
the heck?
sad, but then I thought about it, I was like, why is he reacting like this?
Right.
They literally just introduced this conflict in the episode before. I think if it was like a thing
Right.
going throughout the entire season, like
Yeah.
he's getting further and further alienated, I could see him doing that. But
Right.
this kind of came out of nowhere, in my opinion.
And I think this goes back to the whole thing where they're trying to stretch this like exposition out. And
Yeah.
I mean, if we just had a drop into like first episode and then right into like whatever the main conflict was, I think it would be we wouldn't be talking this way.
Yeah.
But there are apparently I don't know how many episodes again. We haven't looked it up, but there are a few more episodes left.
5 more.
5 more. So
Oh,
yeah.
They better start moving.
I know.
I mean, what is the conflict yet?
That's what I mean. Well,
Right,
the main
right.
conflict is the
People are
fact.
getting snatched.
Yes, people getting snatched.
Right. So we'll see what happens by the end of this entire this series. We'll see if it stands up to the previous. Yeah, I guess we'll cover the next 3 episodes next month, next week, next month.
Next month. Oh my God.
I know. Okay, so that's it for our main topics. We're going to move into news. First of all, Amazon Lord of the Rings, the series that Amazon is producing, gets a director in J.A. Bayona. Who was previously the director of Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, which is the second film in the new Jurassic World series. Also, yeah, I mean that's what's happening.
That's
I
all
don't
we
know.
have to say
that's all
about
I know
That's
about that.
all you need to know.
Yeah, that's all we have to say about that. Also, Akira, the much struggled over live action adaptation, who's currently being helmed by Taika Waititi. They're currently casting. There's a casting call. I'm sure if you look online, you'll find it. But they're looking for people in their early 20s, it looks like, or people around 18 play younger, 18 to 24,
play
Asian male. It doesn't say. You know how they're always
Canada and
yeah,
I see.
Canada
Yeah.
in June.
in June, right? But I think the
Asian actors.
Asian actors, not necessarily.
Asian actors.
So, do you think they're precluding Asian Americans?
I hope not.
I hope
God.
not. I don't know.
God, I
I mean,
hope
it's
not.
always weird when you read a breakdown,
They try to mix them though,
right?
but you know.
And I think that I haven't seen the actual breakdowns, but I feel like it's one of those things where they're under code names again, right? I'm sure,
Yeah.
and so we don't know exactly the exactly which characters are being cast right now, but the conjecture is it's Canada and in June. So if y'all are interested in that, y'all should look for it. It's all over the internet. It's floating around. But also we have, as soon as this clicks over, I will find out what we have. Oh, look at that. I closed my show rundown. So
That's me every time.
yeah. So Marvel Studios moves forward with their first Asian superhero, Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu. They've announced 2 cast members. That's Donnie Yen of Ip Man fame and Lu Di-lin, who you will remember if you've seen the most recent series or most recent season of Black Mirror. He's in one of those, the Striking Vipers.
And
Oh.
Power Rangers.
Oh, he's also Power Ranger, like the new movie reboot. I have not seen it yet, but Billy is also from that,
Yeah,
from
isn't-
Stranger Things.
Isn't he the Black Ranger?
I think so.
I heard, wasn't he the hot one?
Yeah, he is the hot one. He's still hot.
He's pretty
still the
hot.
one.
I mean,
Yeah.
you watch Striking Vipers. It's
Yeah.
have
I
you-
mean, Striking Viper. What a title.
I don't know.
I'm
I mean, and
excited.
also Anthony Mack is like in it, so I don't know.
Oh.
It's an interesting episode.
Nice.
Also, let's see what else we have here. The full cast for Netflix's Dark Crystal Age of Resistance has been revealed, and that, my friends,
Star-studded AF.
if you thought that the Dune reboot that they've been announcing, talking about, is star-studded, this is crazy. Because if I could just read off some names,
Please do.
Toby Jones as a librarian, Theo James, Taron Egerton, you might remember him from Kingsman, Natalie Emmanuel as Deet. Deet, nonetheless. She is, Missandei from Game of Thrones. Natalie Dormer, also from Game of Thrones. Lena Headey, also from Game of Thrones. Helena Bonham Carter, who is that?
Helena
that?
Bonham Carter. Silly.
I know. From Everything.
From everything. Yeah.
So, I mean, this cast list, Eddie Izzard. I mean, there's a lot of people here, and Simon Pegg. Wow. So I feel I keep on
2
as
Asian Americans though.
right,
One is Aquafina.
right. Awkwafina,
Oh,
2
shit. She's in
is
everything.
Benedict
Right.
Wong.
Benedict Wong.
They're in everything.
Wong.
Jesus Christ.
I still want to finish Deadly
They
Class.
just need Lana
Awkwafina.
Kander and
Damn, I want
yeah.
Aquafina's like career.
She's killing it
man.
right now.
She's
Yeah.
in everything.
But I mean, she's been grinding for a while, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I mean.
mean-
That's like when everybody speaks about like overnight stardom, it's always not a
Yeah.
thing.
Like 10
I tell you,
year
I saw
type
her
thing.
Yeah.
speak the other week.
Oh, you did?
I went to see the farewell.
Oh, okay,
The
right.
LA premiere. She came in and spoke. She introduced herself. She was really funny. She introduced the movie.
Yeah.
And then she dipped out. Like she was, she didn't come back. She didn't come back for the Q&A.
Right, right.
She's like everyone else did.
I
But
gotta
she
take
did
a
not.
bath in diamonds.
No, but like everyone was there except for her, and we were like, where did Aquafina go?
Yeah.
She didn't want to get mobbed.
Man, too bad. Too bad.
But yeah, this looks crazy. It's coming out August 30th, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm definitely gonna check this out.
Nice.
Keegan Michael Key, Mark Hamill. Gosh,
Wait,
this
who's that girl? That's not Alicia Vikander, right?
Yes, it is.
Elisa Vikander.
Jesus Christ!
How did I miss that?
Why is it my mom in this? Everybody and their mom is in this one. Jeez. Mark Hamill?
Mark Hamill,
My
Jason
God.
Isaacs,
What the fuck?
Mark Strong, Alicia
Mark
Vikander.
Strong?
Yeah.
God.
So everybody's up in this piece.
Everyone's in this movie. Yeah,
Harvey
everyone and their mom.
freaking Firestein,
Wow.
Google and Bathara. Dude,
Who
everybody's in
isn't
this.
in this
Oh my
movie?
God.
So yeah,
My
Wow.
father and
Andy
my mother.
Samberg.
Yeah. Andy no, wait, really?
Samberg.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Alicia Vikander
Oh, also
Keegan Michael Key.
Key from
from Key and Peele. Yes,
Oh my goodness.
I'm telling
Oh
you.
my God.
Everyone's in this movie. I'm offended that we weren't in this movie, guys.
I know.
They should have invited us to.
What is my theatrical agent
They
doing?
feel like
Really
everyone's
wide
in
in the
this
pool.
movie.
I don't have a theatrical agent, so
Oh my, Kevin
Oh.
Bacon? What?
Kevin Bacon.
He doesn't need to be. He's there in spirit.
Right.
All those
Oh my
degrees.
gosh.
But I think that's it for news. I mean,
Yes.
that's all the things that's
Cool.
happening in the geek universe, at least in our very small geek microcosm. Which brings me to our game for this episode. Jen,
Okay. So
what do you have
Actually
for
created
us?
a game
I
this
did.
time,
I
Jen?
actually created a game. I
With
actually
no help from
created a
Caitlin.
guessing game for each other. So,
Okay.
3 papers for each of you. Do you all have pens on you? You can borrow mine.
Oh,
if
I
you
don't own a writing
Okay,
implement.
none of you all
I'm just
own
kidding.
pens. It's okay. So I'm gonna hand mine to Caitlin first.
Okay.
First, this is the pregame. So
Pre-game.
Caitlin,
Where's my
write
drink?
down your name on all 3 of them,
Okay.
and then for keep this in mind too. So one of them you're gonna write your favorite fandom. The second,
favorite
yeah,
fandom?
favorite fandom.
Huge question.
Second one is going to be the very first fandom
My
that
very
you had.
first fandom.
Okay.
Third
First
one,
fandom or first
First-
I really got into, or like
I mean, whichever you take that to mean.
Okay, all right.
First fandom.
First
And
favorite.
the third one is going to be your.
favorite first.
You hate this fandom. You hate this
Ooh,
fandom.
I don't know if I hate a fandom.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So just think about it.
My least favorite
and
fandom?
denote that. Say like favorite blank,
Okay.
hate blank, and first blank.
What is my...
Okay.
I don't hate a fandom. That's hard for me to say.
Well, good. She's using the pen, so you have more time to
Right.
think about it, Earl.
I fucked up.
It's okay. You're allowed to fuck up because I'm the one that's going to be reading these, so that y'all can't decipher handwriting and all that. It's kind of hard to do since, like, I
want me to-
also wrote mine, so I'm
Okay.
gonna add
Do you
those
want me
to
to?
the mix. No, just hand them to me.
I don't need to fold them.
Nope.
Okay. Here you
Okay,
go.
and then hand the pen to Earl.
Thank you.
All
But
right.
there's only 2 of us though, so how hard
Well,
is it?
I
Jen-
added mine in there
Oh,
too.
okay, gotcha.
So
Okay, first fandom.
after Earl is done. Oh, actually, I can explain it now. But
Yeah.
basically, you only earn a point if you can guess who said it and which of the 3 they are.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Aw,
so it's gonna be 2 of
easy.
them. Really?
You guys are gonna
Which of
guess
the
mine
3?
easily.
Okay.
I think you're going to guess mine easily,
All
too.
right. All right. Well,
Um,
let's see how much we know each other.
Shit. Favorite and hated.
Favorite.
Hated.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna look at them. But I'm not guessing.
I don't even know if this is a fandom, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say this because... Well, I'm not, if I say anything, it's going to be too easy to guess. Fuck. Oh, never mind.
Come on, Earl. Time is ticking.
Ooh, do I want to say that?
Okay.
All right. Favorite. Fucking hell. This is like choosing.
I'm not
This is like
looking.
this is like choosing children. My firstborn is all right, but my middle child is my favorite.
Pick your
Middle
favorite.
child is never the favorite.
Oh,
Sorry, middle children.
oh,
One of your favorites.
Middle. All
One
right,
of your
let's
favorites.
see.
Oh wow, I like that. She just wrapped a scarf
fuck
around her
is
head.
going
bored
on?
waiting
All right, come on, Earl.
Sorry, choosing children.
Okay,
All right.
hurry up and okay, hand those to me. All right, sounds great. So, okay. First up, give me the pen
Oh,
so
yeah,
I
yeah,
can keep
thank you.
score. First up, we have the Marvel comic universe
The Marvel.
from Earl. Marvel comic
Who's
universe.
my guess?
Yes.
What is my guess?
Who is your guess, and which of the three do you
Oh,
think it
and
is?
which
You
of the
mean
three?
Which of the two? Because he knows his own.
No, which of the three, as in favorite, first, or hate?
Okay. But
Okay.
out of us two.
Out of us
of
two.
us.
That's
he knows
Caitlin's most
Or-
hated.
yeah. It's Caitlin's most hated. Ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding. Okay, great. All right, let's do that. So Earl has 1 point. Okay, and Earl.
Yes.
You get 3 in a row. Dragonlance.
So there's mine in here too.
Okay, yes.
What? His own is in there?
I mean, it's randomized, so
Okay,
if you happen to stumble upon
that
your
is
own.
my first fandom.
Okay,
I guess it works
okay.
if there's like a fourth host, but since Walter's
Yeah,
not
it's
here,
like
yeah.
I really thought Walter was gonna be here.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
should be
So
more people.
Earl
That's
got
my
that.
first Dragonlance.
Okay, all right. Last one for Earl.
Right.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Ooh, Jen, I'm gonna say this is your favorite.
Wrong.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
I'm gonna leave it out there so that
Okay.
we don't eliminate any opportunities.
Comment from Stinky's Duck. You look strong as shit. I'd hate to drop the soap in front of you. I don't know. I don't know who that's addressed to. I'm guessing it's Jen.
Wow.
I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh my God.
You killed Caitlin.
Oh, we killed Caitlin. We killed
Oh, shit.
Caitlin.
Oh, God.
Okay. Caitlin.
Yes.
Caitlin. Call of Duty.
Oh! Okay.
What's happening? What's happening to you right now?
Okay.
So it's one of
Call of Duty
yeah.
is the one that you don't like. Earl's hated. Earl's hated.
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh,
Great.
because that play online community is trash, man. Gosh.
Yeah. Okay. And Pokemon.
Pokemon? Mm-hmm. Jen's hated.
What? No.
Oh.
Jen's hated? No way.
Oh, damn it.
Oh. Okay. Star Wars.
Star Wars is Earl's first.
No.
My first was Dragonlance, remember?
Oh, fuck! I always lose these games.
Okay. Tiebreaker. Let's see. I'll give you another one, Earl, before I give 2 to Caitlin. Okay.
Okay.
So Sailor Moon.
Sailor Moon. Jen's first.
Nope.
Oh, yours is Pokemon. God damn it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Caitlin. Dragon Age.
Oh, it's Jen's favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tie.
That's a tie.
It's a tiebreaker. Oh God. How many-
Combo breaker.
Oh man.
You ran out. There's no.
This is. I need one more. Like here. I'll
Should we do a final one?
I'll randomly write. Wait. Hold on.
How about the ones that they got wrong?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. No, but I already read them though. Okay.
But they're not assigned to
Oh,
anybody yet.
I can also say a random one that is not within this round.
For yourself?
Actually, no, it's okay. I'll offer it to Caitlin. How's that?
Okay.
Okay. Doctor Who.
Doctor Who? Okay. Oh, fuck, I forgot what I've already guessed. Okay, your first was Pokemon, your favorite is Dragon Age. one you don't like is unknown. Earl, his favorite was first was Dragonlance. The one he doesn't like Call of Duty is. Okay. What is the one you just said?
It's Doctor Who.
Doctor Who. Okay.
You have two choices per your process of
Wait.
language.
I can't remember now. What you don't like. What you do like. Oh, okay.
Okay.
This is the one that Jen doesn't like.
And and the game ends on a tie.
Oh my
All
goodness.
is equal in the world.
Earl, your
Okay.
favorite is Doctor Who.
His
It's
favorite
one of
is
my
Doctor Who.
favorites. I mean, I go to Gallifrey 1 every year, which is the LA Doctor Who conventions.
Jen hates the Star Wars fandom.
You hate Star Wars?
Wait,
you said you were a centrist.
I hate the fandom
Right.
of Star Wars.
All of the fandom or like the current iteration?
The toxic fandoms
Right.
of Star Wars that bully Kelly Marie Tran.
Right. Yeah, that's bullshit.
Jen's
I'm
first.
saying a lot of things are bullshit this episode.
Yeah. Bullshit.
That's bullshit.
Oh, it's like Nancy when she gets drunk on Stranger Things season 2.
You're bullshit.
Bullshit.
This is bullshit.
Bullshit.
You're bullshit.
Anyway, Jen's first fandom was Pokemon.
Right. I remember that as soon as it came out of my mouth.
Caitlin's first fandom was Sailor Moon.
Ah.
Yeah.
Actually, it was Technoman, but whatever.
Techno Man.
No, I was more into Sailor Moon. I was like,
Technoman
I was
Blade.
like Technoman Blade, but I was obsessed with Sailor Moon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Call of Duty was what Earl hated, not what I hated.
Again, the
Alright.
toxic fan. And I'm
Call
on.
of Duty is like very
Yeah.
toxic.
Really?
I'm talking about like the online play
Very
community.
bro. Like
Horrible.
gamer
Oh, no.
bros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even worse than Overwatch,
Yeah. And then
if that's possible right now.
Game of Thrones was Caitlin's fave. I almost put Game of Thrones, so that's a very close guess.
Right.
But then
Yeah.
things
if
happened.
Walter was in this mix, it would have been harder to distinguish
Yeah,
between Earl
I
and
agree,
Walter.
yeah.
And it would be hard to
Agree.
distinguish between me and Caitlin.
I feel like
so this
Walter
was like,
is like straight up like,
you know,
because his first is probably Marvel. Favorite is probably still Marvel. No, I'm just kidding.
but if we said
No,
Marvel,
his
it could've
first was
been
probably Conan.
Conan.
Conan
Yeah.
the Barbarian.
Conan the Barbarian. That's
Not
my
Conan.
favorite.
Conan.
Conan. Like Conan's gonads.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Anyway,
Conan's
thanks for
That was
playing
Conan.
fun.
the game,
Yeah,
y'all.
that
Oh,
was
I wish it was
fun.
Yeah.
longer.
I
wish
wish there were more people.
Yeah, I wish there were more people.
I wish Walter were
We
here
should
for that.
included the other crew.
Yeah, I know.
We could
Let's
have used
do
them
that next
and
time.
it still would have
Yeah.
worked. Yeah.
That's true.
That's well, since not that we're running short or anything, but like let's go over some. What are you reading or doing right now? Let's do some geeky recs.
Nice. Well, I've been streaming some of my Shadow of the Tomb Raider playing.
Woo!
I just got to a pivotal moment. I hope this is not spoiling the game for you,
Which-
Caitlin.
It's all right.
So,
I'm just there for
where
Earl's voice.
Unaratu dies.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and then Lara has to break to the prince that he is now the king.
Right,
And
Etzli.
the Etzli, the son, is actually really, really precocious. Like he just
Right.
goes like, she was a valiant warrior. Okay, all right, everybody, get to work, do your shit, be on top of your shit. And then Lara's just like, wow, he was like really.
That was a
born to
really
do
sad
this.
moment on set.
It was, yeah.
It was. Shout out to Cameron, by the way, Cameron Lucas.
That was really
That's great,
sad.
buddy.
Yeah.
And Patricia Velasquez, Unuratu. She's great.
Yeah.
She was Anouk Cinnamon in the original Mummy.
No wonder. I was
What?
like,
Really?
Oh my
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Anaxunamoon.
Yeah.
Oh, holy shit.
Yeah.
She looks so good.
Well, yeah.
She still looks like she's in her 20s.
She looks fucking.
Yeah, she does. She looks great. Like I
Oh
follow
my
her on
God.
Insta. Yeah, she's great.
Wow. Anyway, well done. I thought her character was
Well done.
really great.
Yeah, I love that dynamic.
Still can't believe we still haven't found the box of Michelle, but it's okay. It's okay.
They still haven't found
all
the
right.
box.
They haven't found the box.
The
Her
box.
Of
Which
Michelle.
I totally know
What a box
what
is.
that means now. Yeah.
Okay, thank God.
I think
A
I
box.
clipped that one.
The box.
The box is a vagina.
The box is a vagina.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Anyway, what are you watching, Caitlin?
Well, I finished season 1 of the podcast Homecoming.
Wow.
Which was freaking excellent.
Oh.
Top-notch writing and acting and direction. Am I right, Rodney? So I already started on season 2. So I'm already on season 2 of Homecoming. It's just fantastic. Catherine Keener, Oscar Isaac, and David Schwimmer. My God. I finally started and Jen knows this, I already started cracking into finally Castlevania season 2.
Yes.
It took me
God.
forever.
Yeah.
I watched Castlevania season 1 before Jen, and like now she's ahead of me. She's seen both
Oh
seasons.
my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for that Alucard Trevor Belmont magic to happen. You know what I'm saying?
that's
Some
gonna
sword
happen.
play.
Oh, okay. I
I wanna
thought you were
see some
talking
sword
about
play,
like
some-
some yaoi.
You gotta
like-
make
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Some sword
Oh,
play.
all
You know
right,
what
all
I'm saying?
right.
Some
Tips
sword
touch, you know?
swallowing.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 Some
Anyway,
the non-sword sorting.
Yeah.
non-sword sorting.
I think that's it for now, kids. Earl.
It's been a busy past week for me, so I haven't been doing a lot, like in terms of watching TV or playing video games. But I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, and recently I've been catching up on a lot of seasons. Particularly, my dad wrote a porno.
Whoa.
Have you heard about this?
I have. Yeah.
It's freaking hilarious.
What?
So there's a guy, and his dad started writing in his retirement. Started writing like erotica for like Amazon publishing, self-publishing on Amazon, and it's three hosts, but they read the
erotica written by his dad?
By his dad.
Oh my
on
god,
air, and then
that's
kind of comment on it.
embarrassing as shit.
It's hilarious. AF.
This is also a video
Wow.
podcast, right?
It might be it might be a video
Okay,
podcast.
I've definitely
now.
heard of it before. Yeah.
I think they did get picked up by HBO or something.
Yeah. Oh, that's because I
Yeah.
saw a commercial for it. Yeah.
Right.
Is it really funny?
It's funny as hell. Like
Is it funny in spite of it, or is it funny because of the writing?
it's funny because of the writing.
oh,
let's check it out.
Poor
Yeah.
dad.
So it's a podcast.
But it's hilarious. Like the way he like describes like just every sex act in the book, like the way he describes it is amazing. I'm just like
I can't
would've-
wait to read this.
I would have never I would have
put
never
his
called it
P
that.
word.
Well, think about it. Just imagine if either of your fathers wrote any kind of smut,
I don't want to think
Yeah.
about that.
like a romance novel, erotica,
There's also
porno.
that, because
What would it look like?
You can hear like the host. I always forget. I'm sorry for forgetting your names, but like you can hear him kind of retch in his mouth sometimes when he's reading. But also, I started listening to, and they just released this second season of the Wolverine like dramatized podcast. The season is called Wolverine: The Lost Trail.
Oh.
And it's both of them are kind of like whodunit murder mysteries.
Yeah.
So they're great. And Richard Armitage he plays Wolverine, Logan. And this is like comic accurate Wolverine. So he's like a lot more feral and kind of true to the comics. And finally, I finished the last season, or the most recent season of LeVar Burton Reads, which was amazing. Yeah.
Wow.
Reading
You've been consuming a lot. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, like, I haven't consumed a lot of like TV or film.
Gotcha.
but,
Oh,
Yeah.
actually, I forgot. I started reading Pattern Recognition by William Gibson
what is that?
because my boyfriend is a huge fan of William Gibson.
She said the
so-
B word.
I know, I said that.
Hey.
But he's been trying to get me to read way more like cyberpunk novels. And William
that's awesome.
Gibson
Oh.
is the original like godfather of the cyberpunk genre
Oh,
who wrote
okay.
Neuromancer.
Oh, Neuromancer. Right.
And Philip K. Dick wrote
That's
Blade Runner.
Right.
Which
Do
was Do
Androids dream of electric sheep?
Yeah. But anyway, so Pattern Recognition is all about this woman named Case Pollard, and
That's such a cyberpunk name.
yeah,
know,
yeah.
Jesus.
She is like working in like brand names and everything. So then it's in this kind of like over-branded type of universe, very much like our own, where we are surrounded by businesses and brands. And sometimes she gets like brand sensory overload,
Right.
and she has to say something to like calm her down. So she says like, he took a duck to the face at 250 knots per hour.
That's like a
He
pale,
took
a pale mountain fire
Yeah.
from
Right.
from
Overloaded.
over
He
Blade
took a
Runner.
duck to the face
Right.
at over 250 knots per hour, something like that.
Oh my god!
So
I think
yeah.
knots is already a speed thing.
Found some more castanets for Dark Crystal.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no!
There, no, yeah, that's a joke. That's a
guys
joke. You guys
guys
are
are
savage.
Terrible.
They don't act
Dang.
anymore. Come on.
They put on the screen
Yeah.
Mary Kate and Ashley
they've been in the spotlight for far too
As the
long.
Gelflings.
Yeah.
as the Gelflings because they look very similar to Gelflings,
There's that
but
duck
clearly
face.
they're not in the cast.
Mary Kate, sorry.
I like that you used the pictures of the Gelflings from the old Dark Crystal too.
Fake.
I know.
Anyways,
But yeah,
great times, guys.
awesome.
How did their cheeks get so sallow? That's what
It's
I'm
because
wondering.
they're
know.
sucking in. They're
They're
like
sucking.
they're doing the Zoolander thing.
Oh. Right,
That's
right.
Kind
Magnum.
of scary.
Some blue steel. Well, that
Anyways.
is it for our podcast today. Episode 17 it has come to a close. Thank you everybody for joining us in chat. Hit us up on all the socials
Hit
at
us up.
PanGeekery, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. We'll be here again next Tuesday, 8 p.m. on twitch.tv/PanGeekery. And we'll be streaming throughout the week, just playing some games.
Come hang out.
Plays. Come hang out. Hit us up in the chat.
Watch us.
Be like, "What's up?" and we'll try to get
Watch
to you.
us.
Also, a shout out to our sponsors again. Jimmy John's Freaky Fast makes it freaky fresh. Go into the K-Town location, the Koreatown location on Wilshire and Vermont. Mention us and you'll get a discount. Also, thanks to our location sponsor, PWC, Filipino Workers Center. Thank you. Again, join us next week. Thank you to the cast and crew. Y'all are great. And that's all.
Bye.
Bye.
Folks. Bye-bye.
PanGeekery Podcast, covering all things geek from an all-diverse perspective. Visit us online at www.pangeekery.com.